Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey Soul Tribe, welcome back to another episode with Lorena and I. Today we're focusing mostly on natural ways of staying healthy, but more specifically, we wanted to do an entire episode about Bach. We're going to talk about maybe a few other things like supplements that you and I have gotten if we have time. But okay, so Bach, and I'm going to just set off to make sure that everyone who's listening knows what it is, because maybe there's somebody that doesn't know. Bach flower remedies, right? Also, though, if you like study the people that are originally into the Bach flowers, they say don't call it remedies because of the legal aspects. Yeah, because it can't be legally, it's not considered an actual medication. So you're supposed to, like the Bach Center will tell you, you're supposed to call it Bach flower essence.
Essences. Sorry. Yeah. Essence. Yeah. That's good.
But it's normal. Everybody calls it Bach flower remedy because literally Bach was a doctor. Bach actually studied the whole intestine, the flora, and that's how he got into after flowers, the flora outside of the body, right? And that's the whole thing where I'm
not only
with
that.
Story.
Yeah. So his story is amazing, but not only that, to me, they are remedies because they truly do help. And I've had incredible experiences in the past with flowers, with like the essences, and how it's made me not only heal at a physical level, but emotionally for me it was huge. It was like a big help.
Yeah, I agree too. But just a lot of times, like if you become a practitioner or you want to like give consults, supposedly just legally back yourself up and make sure that you're not telling your clients that you're giving them a remedy just because of that. That was the advice they gave. But yeah, everyone do whatever you want. I'm not going to sue you for giving me flowers and calling it remedy. Who am I to say that flowers can't heal? Anyway. Yeah. So I got into this, and now you've recently got into this, and now we're both into this.
Yeah.
And the first time I tried Bach remedy essence, flower essence, the first time I tried it was, I think I was like 17 or 18.
For me, it was that doctor that we were going to, that osteopath. He's the one. No, actually before that, didn't we? Because we went to that famous homeopath in Uruguay.
That's the time. I was 17, I think, when I went. Right? Yeah.
I was probably like 18. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I was getting like now I'm doing much better than back then, because back then I was having like really bad chest infections. Maybe every month I would say. So mom's like, okay, we're done with. You can't keep taking antibiotics. You can't keep going to the hospital. So let's go find another natural way of doing it. So we ended up with that guy that you were talking about in Uruguay, and that's the first time I tried it. And I think for me, the biggest change I can remember, because it was so long ago, the biggest change I remember is I remember I wasn't able to deal with my own like bad mood, like my own self. Like I couldn't and I used to say that all the time. Remember when I would get mad with mom? Mom's like, I can't deal with you. I'm like, I can't even deal with myself. Like, I can't even handle myself either. I don't know. Like my own anger and my own issues were bothering me so much. Of course, it was bothering everybody else. They were, right? So I remember feeling like, oh my God, I can deal. I don't hate myself so much anymore. Like I feel like I can deal with myself a little bit better. Yeah, and it wasn't hate. I didn't hate myself. That's the wrong way to say it. I hated the bad mood I was always in, dealing with it.
Yeah,
it was that. So that's the biggest significant change that I remember the Bach flowers brought into my like life. But many years changed till I like remembered them and got back into it after that.
I wouldn't, I mean, if I think back, that specific doctor or homeopath or therapist wasn't the one that I gravitate towards. To me, it was more the osteopath that we went to in Montevideo, who he didn't start with flowers. He started, it was always osteopathy. He would do acupuncture, but then I would only see him once a month. So between
I used
consultations,
to love going to his,
oh my gosh. Like at first it started with homeopathy, and then we went on to flowers. And then when I went on to the flowers, like month after month, I just progressively kept feeling better. When I say better, I mean like I was having and getting really bad anxiety attacks and just feeling really stressed out and unable to manage stress in general. And I just felt so much better. And I think it was a combination of everything as well. Like, I don't want to just say it was all Bach flowers, but the session with the osteopathy would wear out a few days later.
He was coming in, he was cracking, Yeah,
he was adjusting our whole body. Yeah, it was amazing.
And then he would give you Reiki and acupuncture, depending on what you need the most in the session. It would be an hour, I think. He would kind of talk to you while you were on the table, so he was already getting feedback from you to see if you needed something. I was getting
therapy with it too. Like I was getting someone listening to me and giving me feedback and me being able to open up.
Oh yeah, I used to talk to him about how much I hated my job all the time. I remember that.
Yeah, me too.
This poor guy. Everybody was talking about how much they hated their job.
But I could definitely see... That's when I started believing in the flowers, like the flower essences, because I felt different. I had a different confidence about myself. I was able to speak up about things. I remember just feeling just more confident in myself, which is something I didn't have at the time. Like I really lacked that. And that goes to show, like, it depends what the flowers can really help you with so many aspects, like spiritual, emotional, physical pain and physical symptoms. And it works at so many levels. It's fascinating. Like, it's just so cool. And maybe you can tell them a little bit about the history. We can give like a brief, kind of, I don't know. So you guys understand like where this came from, like, because it is fascinating. It's quite fascinating. And we'll put a little link to maybe where you can read the story on the Bach Flowers website as well. I
mean, the biggest I want to make it really general because I don't want to get in the whole history, but the biggest thing in general was he didn't want to work for his father's company. He ended up wanting to get into medicine. His thing at some point became trying to prevent people from getting sick via using like the flora, the intestinal flora, and then after the war happened and he was kind of like assisting with that stuff, and then one day he realized he had, I'm like really generalizing everything. Like I'm
it's and he's British, by the way. Like
yes, he's British.
And English. And he was a homeopath, right?
Yeah.
In the 1930s. So he got cancer. Like, this is a long time ago.
Yeah. After he got cancer, and then he like kind of fainted while he was assisting with everybody that was sick, and I think it was because of the war. I would have to look at but I think he was pretty like much assisting with that at the time when he fainted. He found out he had cancer, and that was like traditional medicine is not working. It was like that was his conclusion. Like he kept feeling that, but that kind of moment for him, it was his wake up call. It was probably his aha. It was like his soul getting him back on his path, right? So he ended up wanting to learn homeopathy, and somehow like he figured out the whole, and I'm pretty sure he was channeling, like, because you don't get that information. So. No one says like, oh, he was channeling entities or he was Akashic Records. Like, you don't know that his history doesn't say it. But if you're somebody that receives information, you know that he was probably receiving information. Like, he was being called. Like, how is it that he would look at a flower? Out of all the flowers he could look at, he looked at a flower and he would go, it waves and it moves this way. Because what he does is he externally looks at the flower, how it acts in the wild. And he goes, this flower pops open, like Empathian, right? That was the first one he discovered. And the saying is that the first flower he discovered was the one he needed so that he could do the rest of the program or discover the rest of the flowers, which I love. And that was the flower, it was Empathian medication, essence. And the flower is one of those, like, I remember we played when we were little, it just pops. If you touch it, it pops, right? And so it's erratic, and it's like, it has no patience. And like, so he started looking outside of how this plant functions. And he seemed to know what kind of person from seeing that. So that's channeling men. That to me definitely is channeling.
To me, 100%. Like there's no way he would have done all this research. There is an element of spirituality in all of this, but also understanding that for him, it was about restoring a balance in the body, right? Between the body and the mind, of realizing that some of these emotions that we have going on in our life, of like fear or anxiety or worry or like doubt, like all of that could interfere and intervene in our balance. So, I think ultimately a lot of that, the idea behind many of these things is like, he was also, to me, channeling things about, I don't know, like to me spiritually, because in essence, like you're just restoring balance so that you can come back to yourself, to your true essence, right?
Yeah, definitely. And so that was like the creation of the first flower, and he has 3 different categories. And that's the first flower from the first category he found or discovered, or however you want to refer to it. And so that's what you do. He observes the flower from the outside and then knows what kind of person needs it and how it helps them. And it all came from there. Depending on what flower, it's divided into 2 different methods of preparing, which it doesn't really matter if you're just going to be buying it from a store. You don't need to know it. But just in case if anybody's interested, it's the sun method, where like it's literally put in the sun for 4 to 6 hours, and like the flowers on the surface. So what's happening is like the vibration. So this is a medication that works on your vibration. And remember, everything's frequency. Everything has its frequency. Everything has its vibration. And so it's working with your whole body
energetic
frequency.
Field.
Even your aura is getting it. Everything, right? Yeah, your energetic field. And so that vibration of that flower in the sun method, it's going into the water, and then the water goes through its process to make sure that it can be shelved long enough. So brandy's added. Some companies do cognac. Well, you also have granules.
And there's ones that like the little sugar kind of pills that look like
those are the ones that I prefer because I like just sticking under my tongue. But they're harder to find.
For kids too,
for
right?
kids,
Because kids can't have alcohol.
Yeah, but those are harder to find.
And this is interesting, Lou, because I did a little bit of extra research, and it says here that Bach derived his solutions intuitively and based on his perceived psychic connections. So that...
Oh, you found that.
He had psychic connections to the plants rather than using research based on scientific methods. I got that off the website.
Oh, because I got the information I got like, supposedly came off of his book, and the information off his book was written by his secretary. His books are by his secretary, and his secretary obviously didn't seem to say that.
It's funny you said that, and then I had that here. I didn't even remember.
Okay, well, confirm then.
Yeah, no, but I mean, there's no way that he could have just done this with. Do you know what I mean? It just
I just
has
couldn't
such
find
a spiritual
a source
aspect
that confirmed that for me. Like when I studied where the course I took, it didn't confirm that. The book didn't. I didn't read the whole book, but the course was created from that book. I think this is on his website,
the Bach Flowers website. Yeah. So I'll link that onto the show notes so people can see it.
Okay.
But I just want to add something in. So you can obviously we're talking about there's like different. Types of, he has like 3 categories, right, of flowers, but you can use them in conjunction. Like you don't have to just take one flower essence. They can be combined and kind of tailored to your needs, and that could change every month. That can change every month and a half or whatever. So it's kind of like a pick and choose of the essences to figure out what you need to bring you back to balance and to be able to help you with whatever is affecting you today, right?
Yeah. And you can take more than one essence at a time because you might need more than one essence. And at the same time, one thing that's like cleared out today because you took this, this one flower essence and this issue is no longer an issue, it can't pop back. This is just like the Krasha Record says, it's like an onion. You take out one layer and deal with something on the bottom. There's something else. And then maybe under that, there's that issue again. You might have to go back to that same essence. So don't discard that essence and say, I'm done. I finished the whole bottle. I took the whole thing. I'm feeling really good. This thing's gone. Don't think that you might never have to go back to it because you might have to. Just remember that.
It's the same concept for sure. But also you can be used, you can help kids through things physical things or emotional kind of, maybe they're going through a hard emotional phase or something.
Well, I'll share at the
Also
end of the
on pets.
episode what I got for Aurora and I, because we finished our round of Bach Flowers. And so I went online today to buy our next batch, and I was like looking at, okay, what issues do I have? What issues does Aurora have? Okay. So yeah, I'll share with that at the end of the episode what I got for me and Aurora. Okay, let's get into the first one. So you made this list for us today. So maybe you want to tell us the ones you picked and why you picked it.
The idea initially came to me after, I think, a session, or after I was channeling some information. And I said, what a great idea it would be to just, especially with what's going on in the world, I feel like energetically, we were talking about that in the previous episodes of like how October, November, and part of December, maybe all of December, are going to be really hard months energetically. And we've all been through so much this year, and there's still so much more to come. And I think a lot of us might be feeling anxiety. Some of us might be feeling like fear. And a lot of that might not be ours. It might be a collective emotion that we're absorbing. And we've got into that in episodes prior about how a lot of these things that we're feeling today might not pertain to us. It might be us feeding off of the energy in the world that's crazy right now. So I thought it would be a good idea to share our top, I think it's five essences, flower essences that could benefit all of us right now. And you don't have to take these. It's just, I thought it'd be cool to talk about them, and that each of you can obviously, you can actually be your own Bach flower therapist, right? You can, if you feel like that urge to do that and kind of ask yourself the hard questions and figure it out. But I always like to think that it's even like with an Akashic Records reading. When you go get a reading from somebody, you're going to get a very different perspective, and it's not biased. It's not, it's not coming from yourself. So a lot of times it's easier to receive information. I would say the same thing if you're going to go to like a Bach flower remedy or Bach flower essence like therapist. I would say it's probably better at the beginning until you get the hang of stuff to see somebody or to get the outside perspective of what you need to be taking, because it's sometimes hard to figure that out on your own. And the thing with Bach flowers is like they're not harmful in any way. So you can take flower remedies that you might not need, and they might not do anything, but they're not going to be bad for you. So I think I want to like say that, because
and you can't overdose.
Like, what if I take the wrong one? You can't overdose on them either. Exactly. Like if you're taking quote unquote the wrong one, it's not going to be bad for you, and it's not going to bring up bad things for you, but you want to be taking the right one so that you can heal quicker, and that you can get through your issues quicker, and that you can balance yourself out even quicker. So yeah, I just wanted to preface that also because Lucy and I offer that service to people. So if you guys feel called to, to have like a consultation with us, feel free to reach out. I'll put our information in the show notes. But today we're going to share the 5 that we think right now people could really benefit from because of everything going on and the collective fears, the collective kind of energies going on. But also I think from the readings we've been doing, we've been receiving a lot of, repetitive issues. And I think a lot of these flower essences could help most of you that are listening. And I think in some way or another, we're all going to resonate with them. So the first one that I came up with was aspen. And this one particularly because of all the fear and the worry, and particularly the unknown fear, because a lot of us might not actually be fearing anything. We might still have our jobs. We might still be feeling secure where we are. We're still be able to move around. We might have not want to travel a lot anyway, but we know everything's going to be all right. But yeah, we're still fearing something. We're still feeling that inside of us.
What is 2020 bringing next? That's probably the fear.
Yeah, or like what's to come. Like you don't know. It's an unknown fear, right? So aspen is great for that collective fear. That is something that's happening right now. We all know that's a thing right now. And it's that same idea of that collective consciousness that we were talking about in the previous episode, of how you can feel what other people are feeling without you choosing that consciously, right? It's just happening to you. And all of a sudden you feel anxiety, you feel low energy, and it's sucking your energy and you're tired. And we're all connected. We know that. we're not just here as like this lone island, like we're all connected, and that fear is coming through to us. And anger too, I would say. It's just right along with fear, which is ego. So this remedy, like aspen, I think really would help people through this right now, because it's hard sometimes, especially if you can't pinpoint what you're fearing. I would say that collective fear, especially, this remedy was like amazing.
Yeah, that's perfect. I kind of want to just literally say what Bach said about this remedy, because he has statements for each of the flowers, right? So aspen would be, and I call it the unknowing, unexplained fear. So that's the title I put for myself for this flowers. I put titles for all the flowers, so it's easier to spot the issue and then double check that that's exactly what the person is looking for. So my title for this flower for aspen would be unknowing, unexplained fears. And then Bach says about it, vague, unknown fears for which there can be given no explanation, no reason. Yet the patient may be terrified of something terrible going to happen. He knows not what. These vague, unexplained fears may haunt by night or by day. Sufferers are often afraid to tell their troubles to others.
Yep. That's I think, spiritually speaking, that is what we're all going through right now. That's why this resonated so much with me, because I see that, and we might not be talking about it. We might not be saying it to the people around us, but we're all somehow feeling that at our core. Yeah. Even if we trust, even if like we know ultimately everything's going to be okay, there's still the media and all this stuff going on in the background, right? That's pushing us to worry and not know what's going to happen. So it's a great remedy just to cut the fear. Right? Yeah.
So by taking this remedy, when you're finally being affected positively by it, what should happen is you should be starting to release that fear. So you're going to cut through it. You're going to start feeling a sense of safety. You're going to feel safe again. And you feel like you can actually protect yourself. Whereas before you might have felt like, I don't know what's coming, so I don't know how to prepare, so I don't know how to protect myself, right? That could be one of the mental aspects of it. And now with aspen, you can say, I feel safe, and whatever comes, I'm ready for it. I can protect myself because I'm very capable of doing it, and I'm okay with that, and I can protect myself, and I'm good. Like, that fear is no longer there. And so it feels like you're in control again. You don't feel like you're in a possible uncontrolled spiral, unknowing. Now you feel like you can control your life again, and something's not going to come at you from whatever angle, for example.
It's like getting a grip on life. You know what I mean? Because I feel like all of us feel like we're just like floating sometimes. Like, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'd be aspen. Yes. So you guys do your own research too. Like, look these up and see how they resonate with you as well. But our second one is Star of Bethlehem. And this is considered one of the most spiritual flower essences. It is connected with like the after effects of trauma and traumatic experiences. So I think we can all safely say that COVID has been traumatic to many of us. This is something that like we're all somehow feeling. It's like it's still happening, but we can all still feel like, you know, after something traumatic or scary happens, that you're still feeling the residual kind of energy of it. I feel that at so many levels. And it's been an intense year with very low energy in so many ways, and fear and just worry, that we need to cleanse ourselves of that, and we need to get rid of that. And I think we might not be conscious of that, but it is happening within us in some shape or form right now. So what Star of Bethlehem really does, and which I find fascinating, is it helps work the union or unification, which to me, I'm getting goosebumps. I have my Akashic records open just saying that. Like, what is happening right now in the world? Everyone's pulling apart. They're not unifying. We're not one. I believe this and I believe that. I go for this and you go for that. And that's not where we're supposed to be living right now. And we're divided in the ways we think, what we feel. And this flower really helps kind of like bring everything together, to bring together the energetic field that kind of separates us and separates us from separates from ourselves, but also from the people in our energetic field, which, you know, with everything happening, that I keep resonating with the United States. There's like a huge elections coming and there's a lot of turmoil. So I think this flower is like, that should be on everybody's list right now. So yeah, the world is very divided and we need to unify. We need to unite, and this flower can help with that.
Yeah. So the title that I would put for this flower is Sadness, Shock, Inconsolable Grief. And what Bach has to say about it is, for those in great distress under conditions which for a time produce great unhappiness, the shock of serious news, the loss of someone dear, the fright following an accident, and such like. For those who for a time refuse to be consoled, this remedy brings comfort. So he said it pretty well there.
Word.
Yeah.
Comfort.
Yeah, comfort.
We all need that comfort.
Yeah. So it's kind of like this, when you take this remedy, you can start, for example, if it's a loss of someone you loved, or, maybe it's the loss of the freedom that we don't have during COVID, right? You start going through that grieving process properly if you haven't started it, or you can start closing it up if you've already started it. It will help you get there. You can release the shock finally and come back into accordance with your brain and with reality and what's really happening, and accepting it, and from a better place, right? So I would also want to add, like, it's going to bring you back to balance with reality and your mind and your way of processing the emotions of everything, whether it be grief from COVID or your freedom, whether it be grief because you lost someone, whether it
lost your job.
Yeah, you lost your job. Just the shock of everything that's going on, the bad news of everything that's going on. Yeah.
So much bad news.
Yeah. So it's going to help you with all those things and start clearing those out, circling it through, and just balancing yourself once again.
I just want to also note that with these remedies, I keep saying remedies, with these essences, it's so it's just ingrained in me.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to not do it.
Yeah, because I really truly believe they are remedies, because they do really help, right?
I know.
But with these essences, there's always like the positive and the negative aspects of it, right? So you might not be feeling this completely, but there's also a positive aspect, like the unification, right? Then there's a whole grief side of it. So there's always counteracting parts of it that we need to look at. And that's why these essences are really just like fascinating. You can study them for hours, right? Like there's so much to them. Okay, so the next one is elm. And I really like this one because I feel like a lot of us can resonate with this. We're feeling overwhelmed and depressed, and there's like so much to do, and you don't feel that you can do it, or you don't feel capable of doing it. And a lot of us are even in that. And I find myself like waking up some mornings, I'm like, I have this huge to-do list, and I don't know if I even want to do any of it. I feel like I don't have the energy, right? So I think many of us are feeling tired, and we need to take action in our life. Like we need to maybe look for a job, or we need to get out and like see our family, or we need to like connect with our spiritual practice, or maybe even like take charge of our lives for our health and balance. Especially now, I think the best thing we can do is like really take charge of our health, because we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. We don't know what's going to happen in the world. And the best thing that we can do to take control of that is our health. So, our immune system, like what we were talking about in the previous episode of like being sick and just like taking care of yourself in every aspect, right? And elm embodies exactly what we've all been kind of feeling the last couple of months of like so much action, energy, movement in the world, and all this pressure that we put on ourselves for things to like go back to normal, or how they were, or how they should be. And this flower really, what it does is it's all about the pressure that we put on ourselves, right? It's going to help us balance that out so that we don't feel overwhelmed by the stimulus, external stimulus, right? So that's the media, our job, the stress, whatever that is. And that's making us tired. It's kind of like going to put us back in balance with that and not let that overwhelm us. So we really just like kind of chose this flower because we feel that most people are being bombarded with media, are being bombarded with situations and really bad news and people dying, and then the numbers of coronavirus and how borders are closed and how you have to be in quarantine or lockdown, you have to wear a mask. all of these changes and pressures, like don't forget your mask because then you can't go here or you can't go there, right? And life's changed for all of us. So, this flower essence really, I think, can help us take that pressure off ourselves and really just kind of balance things out a little bit, because a lot of it we can't control. It's still there. We can't go and be like, hey, no more news. I just want to hear good news, but the news is going to be bad. Like, that's just the way media works, right?
Yeah. And just either, like, I took this remedy when I was diving more into becoming an Akashic Records reader, and I was like, it's a lot of responsibility. I wanted to make sure I was starting to go, like, how can I ensure that I'm really helping, I'm not damaging there was little moments of like doubting if I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. It felt like, again, responsibility, the word, right? I feel like there's a lot of responsibility, taking care of the channel and making sure people are receiving the messages okay, and that it's to their most highest benefit. And I felt like if I slipped up even once, maybe that harms a person, maybe that harms somebody around them. So I ended up getting Elm to help me deal with that. And it really did. I think once I was halfway down the bottle, I was already feeling like, yeah, I got this. It's fine. I got this, right? So the title I would put for this flower is Overwhelmed Worker or Too Many Responsibilities. And what Bach has to say about it is, those who are doing good work are following the calling of their life and who hope to do something of importance, and this often for the benefit of humanity. At times, there may be periods of depression when they feel that the task they have undertaken is too difficult and not within the power of a human being. So that describes a lot of what you said, and also what I was feeling, the reason why I took that remedy as well. What this is going to do is it's going to, for me, it gave me confidence. So it can boost back confidence, say, you know what? It's responsibility. I don't feel so overwhelmed by it anymore. And I feel like I can do it. Like, it's not too humanly possible. I can do it. It's fine. Like, I totally got this, right? You're going to feel like you have a handle on things. You're going to feel like you can totally do the task. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like too much to do. It's not too stressful. You're going to be able to process the whole thing better. And you are actually going to be able to go outside of your way and be able to even ask for assistance if you need it. Guess what? I don't got this alone. I don't have to do this alone. I can actually go outside and ask for assistance. Hey, by the way, I forgot to bring my mask, and ask the person nearby, like, can you lend me yours? Like, I don't know, like, not being so fearful of the fact that, do I have everything? Do I have the mask? Do I have this? Like you were talking about today, like, you'll start realizing you're not alone in this. We're all in it together as well. So all these things can kind of come together for you.
Yeah, although I don't think I'd ask somebody for their mask.
I always carry...
Unless it was like my partner.
No, I always carry a pack of masks in my bag that if anybody needs one, like I...
Oh, like
that
extra
I didn't
masks.
Use. Yeah. The other day on the bus...
disposable ones?
Yeah, but yeah. But so the other day, like, there was a lady was... But I use it in case mine's ruined or I drop it or I lose it or whatever, right? Like, I have a pack in my bag.
Yeah.
So the other day I was on the bus and there was a lady on the bus that wasn't wearing one, and the bus driver said, yeah, if you don't, you gotta get a mask. And she said, no, I don't have one. And I literally went to pull one of the new ones I had. No, here, you can have, I have an extra one. And she's like, no, I'm not wearing a mask. And she got off the bus and she decided to walk.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm on board with her. I only wear it because I don't want to be fined, and I had to catch that bus, but I don't think we should be. I don't think anybody should be obligated to put something over their mouth and breathe back the breath of what your body's trying to get rid of. I don't agree with it.
We're going to get into a lot of
I know.
a lot of debate on that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like
everyone has a right to feel what they want.
I know, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Anyway.
So I agree with the lady. Anyways,
the next one that we have is sweet chestnut. So this is a remedy when, like, you feel hopeless despair or like an intense sorrow, or feel like destroyed by some kind of like low energy, right? So it's also considered like life and death, the vision of if you can imagine like the vision of the phoenix rising, like this is what embodies kind of the energy of sweet chestnut. It's also about anguish and anger, and I think there's a lot of anger going on in the world right now, especially when I look at these. Like, I don't watch the news a lot, but when it is on or I hear something, it's because someone's been shot or killed, or there's these protests where people are hurting each other. And it's just like, wow, there's so much anger. You can see the anger in people's like energy field, right? And then, for example, our bodies have gotten to the point right now where we can't, and we don't want to support any more bad news, like, and any more change for that matter, right? It's kind of like we're like, okay, when is this going to end? Like, when were we going to get balance? And I wouldn't even say like going back to what we were living, but more like just that balance where we don't want to be like what's the word? Like hit from the side with like this thing that's going to like uproot our whole lives, kind of like COVID, right? But we need to remember that it's all happening for a reason, right? Like all of this is happening for our higher good, for something to come out of all this. And I truly believe that. And Lucy and I have channeled that before. So we know that to be true. This flower will also help transition you through this time that we're all living in a more like peaceful way, or from a more peaceful place, and see you to the other side, because the reality is we're not done with this right now, right? This is going to keep going on for a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's a great remedy. It's one that we really think it could be good. It could really help you guys.
Yeah. So I would call it unbearably holding on. And what Bach has to say about it is, for those moments which happen to some people when the anguish is so great as to seem to be unbearable, when the mind or body feels as if it had borne to the utmost limits of its endurance, and that now it must give way, when it seems there is nothing but destruction and annihilation left to face. Edward Bach. So, if these are one of your circumstances, what I said, what Bach said, what Lorena said, and you take it, you'll be able to go to a place where you can finally deal with it. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel unbearable. It feels like instead of just holding on, you're starting to grab on, right? Slowly grabbing on. You're going to start feeling more positive about your life, your situation, whatever it is you're looking at that's getting you there. And it's like, you'll finally, it's going to click in your mind and go, this is going to pass. Like, yes, it's really hard right now. And no, it's not going to be easy for the next blah, blah amount of time, but it's going to pass. So it's almost like you click that into your mind. And you start getting more worth towards yourself. And you know that I don't deserve this. I deserve a better situation. Something better is going to come to me. I'm going to attract amazing things to myself, right? Just one click in the mind starts bringing in a bunch of other great things, right? So it's almost like you're going to be able to ride the wave out a little bit better. And, and then you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know that it's going to end, and you know something great's going to start after that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that remedy. Sorry, essence. And the last one that we have is wild oat. And this is an essence of like when you are uncertain of the correct path in life. It's helpful when you need to like make an important decision, or when you've been put in a situation where you have to make a decision and you need to figure out what you need to do. This flower helps work through like the purpose, the direction, the fulfillment in your life. Because a lot of times that could be cloudy, especially with the energy going on right now, where we're like, oh, am I choosing something out of fear? Am I choosing something out of lack? Am I choosing something because I know I won't get another job? Where the reality is you might get another job, right? So many of us are feeling a little or a lot of loss these days, right? Or it's even harder to make any decisions because of that, because of the global situation and all the fear of just the collective fear. All these fears have been put into us of like, don't get sick and don't do this and you can't travel and you have to wear a mask. And also we're all like been pulled away from our loved ones as well. Like that's hard. That's really disconnecting us from love, from connection. And this flower really is a catalyst to help you find like meaning and direction in your life. We really chose this one because we feel like we are all in so many ways, in one way or another, feeling a little lost. And we really need that little nudge or that boost to follow our heart and what feels right now. So So yeah, I think this could benefit most of us right now. Even if we do have some sense of direction, there's still some uncertainty, or we need to make a decision and we're a little bit like iffy or on the fence about something. And this could really help you get more clarity on your path, right?
And I love this flower essence because it's something I recommend to a lot of people, like when they're first coming into it. And this is what usually like you learn with Bach Flowers is if you're coming into it, you go, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what I want in life. Like, I just don't know anything. Like, don't think. Just grab yourself a pack of wild oat and get on that train. Yeah, and get on that wild oat train, because that's going to help. This is the flower that's going to help you determine your occupation, your drive, your passion, your purpose, all these things, like what do you want to do, where you want to go, how you want to do it. Like, it's the one that should help you gain clarity, right? So the title I would put to that then is Driven with No Clear Occupation. So this is a really good one for someone also that like, I really, really feel like I want to do something in life and I really want to make a difference. I really want to do something great. I just don't know what, right? Like, I can't figure out what it is. And funny enough, I recommended this to a lot of people a lot of people are going through this time where it's like, yeah, my job, everyone's questioning a lot of people are questioning their jobs now after COVID. So if you don't know what it is you want to do, well, you can get a category reading with us, and that's a big thing that they ask, one, or also you can hop on the wild oat wagon. I
love that.
Yeah. Okay, so Edward Bach says, those who have ambitions to do something of prominence in life, who wish to have much experience and to enjoy all that which is possible for them, to take life to the full. Their difficulty is to determine what occupation to follow, as although their ambitions are strong, they have no calling which appeals to them above all others. This may cause delay and dissatisfaction. So that's what Bach said. And if you take this remedy, then you'll probably figure out what that occupation is for you, like what you're supposed to do. You might feel that your drive is finally going to, if you didn't have drive, you're going to start feeling drive towards something possibly. You're going to feel more purposeful because you're going to feel like you have a purpose or you're working towards this purpose. It's going to help clarify a lot of possible doubts you had about what to use all this energy that I have. And I know I want to do something, but what do I use it for? So think clear thoughts, think clear purpose, think clear drive, think knowing occupation, knowing what I want to do and knowing where I want to go and how I want to do it.
Totally. But also what kind of is coming to me right now is when you're saying like that whole getting clarity and like understanding the purpose of things, it's also in some way or another connected to what's happening right now and us finding purpose in what's happening and being able to work through that through purpose, because there is a purpose for all this. You know, it doesn't seem like it sometimes because it just seems so crazy, but there is definitely a purpose. Yeah.
So just to end, I'm going to quickly share what I purchased for like the reboot, the next batch for Aurora and I, now that we talked a little bit about it. So we talked about at the beginning of the episode about how the first remedy, the first essence that was discovered by Bach was Empatien. And so I actually ordered Empatien because I need to take that, because that's typical me. I'm just like Bach, I'm an Empatien, which is basically like, I want everything done now, or I want results quick, or, no, quick. And can't sit still. Like in the case of Aurora, I'm getting it to see if I can help her like concentrate more, because we try to play memory games and get her to repeat animals and play things, and I can't get her to pay attention long enough to even like learn a new word. So I'm trying to see if I can get her to focus her concentration more. Possibly that might mean sitting still a little bit more or looking around less. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how it's going to function totally, but I know that Empatien will help that. For me, it's going to help me for that too. Lark. I'm getting Lark also for both of us. It's funny. We're getting a lot of similar remedies. Lark for Aurora. Yeah. Because she has avoidance issues.
100%. Yeah.
So we talked about that, and she, for example, kids get hurt. Like the other day she was jumping from the table to the couch, and I said, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt. And like, just like all moms, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt. And the third time, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt. And then bam, she got hurt. And when she gets hurt, she'll cry, she'll come to look for some comfort, she'll snuggle up, grab the blanket, grab whatever blanket or pillow, whatever she can grab, and boom, she'll go to sleep.
So
it doesn't
weird.
matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if she hit herself on the face, on the head, on the arm. It doesn't. She fell and she scraped her knee. If it hurt a little bit more than, just a little scrape, then she's going to probably go down and go to sleep, which I think that's pretty awful. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to get a little bit of a break, take a little nappy while mommy does something else. But so I'm getting her Lark because apparently it would help her with the avoidance issue. That seems to be avoidance. And I'm getting it for myself because I've been trying to manifest a bunch of things in my personal life. And I think part of what's happening for me that I'm not able to bring that fully into focus is because I'm having issues with feeling like I really actually deserve it, or that I'm capable of getting it. Like, why should I get that? Or why should I,
I feel that all the time.
Yeah. Get yourself some Lark, man. Get yourself some Lark. Yeah. And I'm getting for Aurora Star at Bethlehem. But I can't pronounce it ever. Bethlehem. Yeah. I'm getting that for Aurora mostly for the emotional aspects, as as her auntie. Aurora's had a really bad, first year and a half year of her life with having to say goodbye to, the life that she knew, the people that she knew, the school, all these things, right? And I got divorced and, now we're far away from where he is, so she never really sees him very much. And so I've noticed that she has some disturbing she can't deal with emotions very well. So I think that's the trauma from having to say goodbye to a life that she had. And so I think that remedy is going to help her for that. And I'm getting Hornbeam for myself.
I need Hornbeam
to deal
so
with
bad.
the mornings better because, guys, I'm not a morning person. So it's supposedly going to help me feel like more positive about what's coming for the rest of the day.
Isn't it more like a burst of energy too?
I don't know if it'll give me a burst of energy. The way I studied it when I learned about the remedy from the courses I had done, I had learned that it's not that you're lacking. I mean, yes, it will give you energy back, yes, but it's not that you're lacking energy. It's that your mind.
It's more the motivation. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what's a good way of thinking about it? It's like that. When you wake up on a Monday morning, you're like, oh, I got to do this all over again.
Well, for me, every day's Monday, even if it's Saturday.
That's
every
a good
Monday.
thing for Hornbeam.
Yeah. So that's what Hornbeam's for. It's like, oh, I have to do this today and that today. Oh, I have to wake up. Oh my goodness, I have a child. Oh my goodness, I have this.
It gives you energy. It'll help push you forward, right? When you feel like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, or oh God, I'm just thinking about this and I'm already just like dreading it, that kind of energy.
And then the last remedy I ordered for myself is chicory, which if you like look it up, there'll be a lot of articles that's like, dude, chicory's got some bad rep, right?
Really?
Because it's like you give it to someone that's really needy, usually. Like that's the profile that people think of chicory, which, I am a little needy probably. If you ask my partner, he would probably say yes. I'm actually taking it more for emotional security because we're back in quarantine. We're back in like rigid quarantine. There's a lot less interaction with people. I'm already thinking like, how am I going to deal with this and this and that? I feel like I wanted to go to Uruguay to visit. Now I'm realizing I won't be able to go to Uruguay. And I was like hoping to reconnect with, mom and dad. And so I'm feeling like I wanted that emotional aspect of my life. I wanted to see mom and dad again. And so I feel like I need some emotional security. And so those are needs that I need met. So chicory's kind of gonna help me replace my lack of trip and my lack of love from family.
Yeah.
Because you guys are at a distance, right?
Yeah. It's been hard. I feel like we're held back from so much in that sense. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
I just feel like sometimes I just wish I could close my eyes and be in Uruguay for 2 months, seeing mom and dad and like hanging out with you and you meeting us there. Or like being over there with you guys like I did last year in November, which is definitely not happening this year.
Yeah, and in Sandra and I, before all this happened, we had already discussed going to Uruguay this year in October. That was the plan. And I can go. I can actually go because I'm a citizen and Aurora is also a citizen of Uruguay. I'm not too happy about the travel process, wearing a mask for those 20 hours of travel, because you're wearing it on the airplane, at the airport, all this. So 20 hours, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I can't do that. And at the same time, I heard, Mom looked into it for me and heard that if it's one of those long flights, you kind of have to wait your turn to go to the bathroom. And when you're the 3-year-old child, there is no time to wait to go to the bathroom. When the child says, I need to go to the bathroom, you literally got like 5 minutes maximum to get them to the bathroom before their pants end up wet.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. So I don't know. I really don't know when I'll be able to travel again. I'm pretty much like, I feel stuck here at moments, but I know it's going to be okay. Yeah. And things will work out. But I feel like I need impatience as well. I feel like really a lot of anxiety with things moving forward and like figuring things out. And it's like, it's hard, it's hard. And we're all going through that. And that's also like a big reason why we wanted to do this episode. Cause this is such a great way for you to do something natural. That's not going to give you any side effects. It's going to maybe help you transition through something that you can't avoid. Like it's there. You can't just like look the other way. Right. You can't. And the more we do that with our emotions and everything is the more we get sick. The more we don't connect, the more we let our ego take over. So, yeah.
I also just want to add.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I just wanted to add that sometimes there's not just one go-to way where I do this one thing and then it fixes everything, right? Like if you heard my episode before that I did a hypnosis session for my health, part of my questions that I had on my list that Courtney was going to help me deal with in the session was, I have no energy and I can't get up in the morning. And so this whole aspect came into play where I talked about it, which she takes all the energy to go study, right? So now it's funny, I do have the energy. I get out of bed so much easier. So she's keeping up with her side of the deal, which she was going to keep more energy with me. So that actually functioned in its energy way, but I still have that mind thing where I'm like, I have to get up and I have this. So it's the mind now that doesn't want to accept the morning. So now I'm taking it to the next level. I'm going to go deal with the psychological aspect of me not liking mornings, and that's why I'm getting into that remedy. So sometimes, guys, one way, like one. What do you call it? Healing modality, I guess you want to call it. One healing modality is not the only way you can fix it. Sometimes you need to go at it from various different modalities to make sure you clear it out from every aspect. In my case, it was soul, and it's psychological level, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I always love to look at things at those 3 levels: physical, emotional, spiritual. Yeah. Or like body, mind, and spirit, right? Yeah. I think that's the best way to look at it. And any problem, there's always some kind of like connection there. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, and remember the remedies can change from month to month because you're going to transition. Things are going to change. And then the remedies you were taking, like you were saying, 2 months ago are not going to really work anymore or not going to like really help you move forward because you've already made changes. You're feeling different. So you always want to be transitioning into like doing things differently. And there's always something to
deal with. Like, it's not like you're going to fix these things and you're done. You're going to always have something to deal with because we're human and that's what we're here to do, is to have a human experience. And human experiences, I'm always learning something, and learning something always comes with its complication issues and things that we can use. The essences, I was going to say remedy. The essences was to help us through that current moment of karmic lesson, right?
It'd be funny if like someone's like, take a shot every time they say remedies. They'd be drunk by the end of this episode.
You should have said that in the beginning.
Oh no. Yeah, I should have said that at the beginning. I didn't think this was going to happen. You know what I mean?
What was the episode of How I Met Your Mother? Every time she said something in a report, it was like a news report, everybody was drinking and they all got drunk. What was it that she said?
Yeah. I love that show. I love that show.
I love that show. Yeah.
I miss it. Yeah. Well, I hope like this information's helped you guys somehow.
Oh, also, I would love if anybody buys these like remedies after this episode to help them, tag us. I would love to see everybody's pictures with the remedies. So definitely like tag us on Instagram or Facebook or
that'd be cool to see what you guys are taking. If you've taken, maybe if any of these resonate with you, if you feel like there's other ones that you want to take, we'd be curious to see what everyone's taking. Maybe you guys already do Bach flowers, like you guys are already taking them. Like, let us know what you're using to get through this time. But we really do hope this information helps and gives you a little bit more kind of insight on how Bach flower remedies or essences work. And if any of these, we'll put links basically in the show notes where you can buy them online and you can create your own kind of formulas. So you'd have to take different essences and put them together into a formula for yourself. So if you guys have any questions on that, feel free to reach out. Like we said, we also offer sessions, one-on-one sessions with people. So if you guys are interested in starting this journey with Bach flowers and you don't know where to start and you feel like you need an external kind of person to help you figure that out, Lucy and I are both, we're both qualified for that. But not only that, we also offer that along with our Akashic Record readings. So what I'm offering personally right now is a reading attached with the Bach flowers. So we do an hour-long reading together. And then after that, we have a 30-minute chat on, it could be what we've seen during the reading or add on to other issues that you're seeing in your life that you're feeling and that you want to work through. And it's kind of like that extra healing that you need after the session. I always like to say that after an Akashic Records reading, there is healing that continues to happen because there's those aha moments and things start to click and the awareness and energy needs to shift in order to do that. But as well, like this can give you an extra level of healing afterwards where you feel like you have that support system that you need. Feel free to reach out to us if any of that resonates with you. And, like we always say, we're here to help people and we want to like help heal you guys and help put you on the right path. So if you feel connected to us, amazing. And make sure you tag us with your remedies, like Lucia said. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram or Facebook. All the links on the show notes. And we'll see you guys next week with a new episode. Bye, guys.
Thank you.